So welcome back to Female Voices, Life and Loss. I'm your host, LaWayna Berry, and I am here with KeErica, the wife, the mother, the mogul. She does it all. So let me read her bio. I want to do her justice. So KeErica is a wife, a mother, an author, and communications professional in the DMV arena. She is passionate about family time, learning, and volunteering with various organizations, which is how I met her. Some of those organizations are Rally Up magazine about mental health, and she's affiliated with a nonprofit, We Fight Foundation. They provide support and programming to help families and those that are impacted by suicide. Additionally, she consults to Lemonade, a nonprofit helping to bridge the gap of POC in the tech industry. Lastly, at church, First Baptist Church in now Glendarden. Is that how that's pronounced?
Glenarden.
Okay. And she volunteers with the registration team for Children's Church. And let's see, and graduating from her women's discipleship group called DDS, Divine Disciples for Sisters. Okay, I hear you. Let's see. And so her connection to loss is losing her son in 2016 while in the womb. She was pregnant with twins and found out at a routine weekly checkup he had no heartbeat. So they told her that, she needed to rush to the hospital. They presented the choice to stay in the hospital for weeks to allow her daughter to develop more since she was at only 32 weeks, or they could stop giving her the medicine. And man, that's a tough decision. That was taking time to stop preterm labor and let it begin to happen naturally for a C-section. Wow. There's a lot here. Okay, and I'm going to finish this. I choose the latter because she didn't know what would happen in there to cause his heartbeat to stop. So they were born around midnight. And she was able to take pictures with him. They gave her keepsakes for him. And they chose to do testing to find out what happened, but nothing ever came from that. And that's hurtful. Yeah. Okay, 2 years after that, we had an apartment fire. Oh my gosh, another loss where we lost everything, including his keepsakes and footprints. Pillow and mementos. That had to be so hard. Okay, and then, all they have are memories and photos. And so she looks back and wish she did a funeral service or something, but it's bittersweet with each birthday for her daughter. She will be 9 in August. Oh, that's a long time. And so she wants to talk about her mental health matters, share about her book, Your Mental Health Matters, to him. Helpful scriptures to restore, rebuild, and renew your mind. They are scriptures that have helped me along my journey. I got to order that, though. It sounds amazing. With someone that was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I'm on the process of writing a second book to be released in January around her birthday. Yay. Similar to her last book 6 years ago, right before COVID. So many things happening in there. Man. Okay, lady. Okay. Sorry, that was like a mouthful. And I kept stopping because there's so many great highlights throughout of it. So how would you like our audience to know you today?
Just as KeErica, as a mother, like I said, working through and living through the loss of Caleb, but, having my daughter, Jordan, just be of support and let people know, like, you can get through it. Like I said, it is bittersweet, and just like how to process it. I think for me, some parents, you may lose your baby that's stillborn, mm-hmm. or that pass away in the womb, or however you may lose them. But I want to say the good thing, the blessing in that was that they were twins. So we did leave home with one baby, whereas I know some people lose a child and they don't have any child. So I will say that's the sunshine in the rain.
It's like bittersweet though, because you're like, I want my boy too. That makes me think about This Is Us. Have you seen that show where they have 3 babies and they only come home with 2?
What show is this?
This Is Us.
Yes.
So it just made me think of that and just how bittersweet that was, So you wear so many hats: a wife, mother, author, mental health advocate, and communications professional. How do you see all those roles shaping who you are today?
I think just wanting to be of support for others. Like, as we met with doing Rich Mama's Club and being the communications coordinator for that event, for the workation event at Essence Fest, of just like being that bridge, that gap to like connect other people to others and looking out for them. I'm like a really big advocate. Like, you tell me something that you need, I'm gonna figure out how to make it happen. Like, try to be really solution based. And I find myself even saying that with my daughter when she's asking me stuff. I'm like, okay, are you part of the solution? Or are you part of the problem? How do we get to an answer? So I think, yes. And with being a mom, exactly, with being a mom, even with being a wife, you're talking to your spouse and you're like, okay, but how are we going to solve this?
Exactly. I think we are alike in that, meaning connectors. Like I love when I find out about resources to connect people to resources, but also very much solution focused. Like, we cannot keep talking about the same problem.
Yes.
So I love
I'm like, okay, how do we do this? Okay, let's try this. Okay, try this. Okay, try this.
Like, let's try to figure this out. And it's teaching your daughter independence, and she has grit, I'm sure, for learning how to take care of herself. Because mom's gonna ask me,
right,
am I part of the problem? Am I part of the solution? So I got you ready.
Right, exactly.
Can you walk us through the day you found out about the loss of your son in 2016?
Like I said, it was, I'm at 32 weeks, so we got 2 more months to go. And I was at that point, we were checking in weekly. My husband and I, we were dating. We were one of those microwave relationships. We fast forward everything. So we were really only together like a year before we got pregnant. And so we were living separately, and we had found an apartment. So we were trying to get the apartment together. So I do remember just wanting to get out the hospital, because 2 weeks before that, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks because I was going into early labor. So like I said, they had me on the medication to stop the preterm labor. And so I had just gotten out of the hospital after doing that 2 week stay. We had just moved into the apartment. So I'm putting the stuff away. And I do recall like feeling weird, but I didn't know, I didn't know what I didn't know. And then I think I had an appointment like maybe 2 days later. So when I went to that appointment and they told me that, I just thought it was a fluke. I just was thinking like, maybe he's the wrong way. It's not what you don't want to jump to the other end of the spectrum. My mother-in-law had took me to that appointment. So I had to come out. I had to call my husband first while I'm in the back to let him know first. And then I had to come out and tell her what was going on so she could take me to the hospital. So where my OBGYN was about maybe 20 minutes away from the hospital where I was supposed to deliver. And she took me to the emergency room, and, my husband met me there. And that's when the doctor was telling me that I had the options that I had. And like I said, we were thinking like, yeah, I'm not staying here for another 2, 3, 4, however many weeks to let her develop. And then to think, it was kind of morbid to think like, okay, if he's gone, what else can we do? And and we're like steady checking, like, please check the heartbeat again. Let's just make sure. And they were like, yeah, it's definitely only one heartbeat. And so we prayed on it and just were like, do whatever we need to do to get her out as soon as possible. And so,
did you worry that something would happen to her if she stayed in longer?
Yes.
Like, really want to be at the hospital anymore?
No, I was just worried because we didn't know. They had no reason. They didn't have anything to tell us from the outside. And that's what we were saying. Like, well, if we make the decision for me to stay in here and for her to stay in, how do we know what happened? And they were like, we really can't. I still don't remember all the terminology. I guess, is it an in vitro? Like, they were like, we really don't know what's going on with the inside until we get them out. So I was like, let's get her out.
Yeah. Wow.
And when we had them, because, I had to have them C-section, and my husband, he held them first. So he has the first picture, I'm laying on the table with my head hanging out, and he's holding both of them, and they put them in like, a little plastic baggie. They like keep them warm and laid them together. So we do have pictures of them together, and my daughter's crying, but he's like not. And it's like, he looks just like her, but not doing anything. And so it's just like, you still sending up those prayers like, Lord, let him take one more breath. Let him just have that Lazarus moment of still.
I know I tried. I was like, LaWayna, your mind already knows.
It's done.
This is final.
And that's
it's so hard. It's so
hard. And holding him, and you're just like, just open your eyes, please. Just be a miracle. Just show them, you know all the prayers. I know you know.
And I didn't touch my son when he died because I didn't want to remember his body code. I just didn't want that. I didn't want to remember that. So I just touched him just lightly, but I didn't hold him because I didn't want to have that memory. So I don't know if that was good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Because I just love that you guys were together with the prayers and the movement going forward. It's just to see a little kid. Even I get choked up still when I see shows and they have a baby that's deceased, and I'm just like, a cat.
Yeah,
agreed. Agreed. Wow. So we got, oh man. So holding both of them, a mixture of grief and joy. Welcoming your daughter, but saying goodbye to your son. I just can't imagine. So 2 years later, you have the devastating fire where the keepsakes are gone from that day. How did you begin the process after that with this second loss? How are you dealing with that? It's only 2 years later.
I don't think, and that's what, speaking with you and talking about this, and I've been reflecting on this till this meeting. That's what I was thinking. I think I really haven't processed it. I think it was kind of like out of sight, out of mind. And as she's getting older, and like you said, we still want our baby boy. We're like, dang, it kind of still feels like our family isn't complete. Like, do we try one more time? Do we try to have another boy to kind of try to not fill the void, but just complete us? Are we complete with where we are with the two girls? And so I think I'm kind of like, do I want to go back to the hospital to ask them hey, do you guys have something on file that you could give me? Because I don't have anything. And like I said, I feel like when I see other people process that kind of lost their babies in similar ways, they went all in and did the funeral and have the ashes and do yearly remembrances. And I'm like, I just kind of moved forward. I just moved forward with my daughter and just poured everything into her. But we have told her, she knows she was a twin. She knows her brother's name. But it's weird because now I'm like, oh, don't do this to me. Because my 2-year-old, she said, she knows she has a sister. And she's like, that's my sister. But she says, I don't have a brother. And I'm like, why are you, why are you saying that?
A little though, she won't know.
I know, but it's like, you just, and she's like, well, I don't have a brother. And I was like, and now I've started saying you do have a brother. He's in heaven. And so letting her think about, you can see that the wheels turning, her thinking process of that. Right. What's happening? Where is he at? How do I see him? And
that's so hard with kids because I have a cousin who is a couple of years older than my son, and they had started to bond and play together and things like that. And so he's like, Josh, he's in heaven. Can I go visit him? Like, my grandpa's in heaven. Can I go to and see both of them? He's like, and then I just love kids because they're so honest. I would drive over. He said that's Josh's mom. And so his mom kept trying to get him not to say that. This is your cousin, LaWayna. He's like, Joshy mom. And it's Joshy truck. Joshy mom drive his truck. He's like, where is his seat at? Where is his car seat? It's not. But bless him. I just love on him. I'm like, But everybody's worried that, of course, I'll be triggered or something like that. And I said, no. I said, my son wasn't nothing but love. So kids are nothing but love to me. So I imagine, hurts. It hurts.
It does. And I think when people say it in the moment when it happens, of course, you're like, when they say, oh, time heals all wounds. And it's like, when you hear that in a moment, you're like, no, it'll never, I can't get it. But as you get further down, you still have those moments of grief, but it actually really does make it not as painful. Like it makes it not, it still's there. You still feel it. You still have the moments, but it's not like it was the first day.
It's not in the driver's seat, like they said. I don't know. It was very, it's hurtful when you hear that. It was their time. Lord did this. And you're like, and in my situation, absolutely was not his time. My husband, it was just an accident. Just is what it is. And so when they said, I would get so angry at the beginning, especially with seeing photos, like baby photos and not photos, of the actual age he was when he died. I'm like, my son wasn't a baby. He was 3 years old. So, the peaks and valleys, right?
Right.
Let's see. So, So, have you guys adopted and started to do kind of remembrance things around birthday times or?
No, I think, again, now I feel like it's starting to really sit on both of our hearts because my husband's like, again, do we want to try again? He's like, I can't take another girl. I really want a boy too. But he's like, well, maybe I'll just get a boy dog.
I ain't mad at him.
He said, you guys can't outnumber me in this house.
Oh, I feel you. Oh, well, maybe adopt, because before I had my son, I was going to adopt. So we moved into a bigger house and everything because, they said I couldn't have any kids. I went down that infertility rabbit hole and I became a crazy person on all those medications. It was garbage. And then I was like, hey, I can just get this in vitro stuff. And my husband's like, it's like I'm having a baby with somebody else. Mm-hmm. He's like, no, we can just adopt. So I didn't know if you guys were interested. You can get that boy. You can pick him.
I think we would just sit with our two. I don't think we would do that. Okay. I haven't presented that to my husband, but I don't think that he would. I don't know. We haven't discussed that. But I do think we would. I think I do want to start discussing with him more of doing more of the remembrance and maybe doing some type of something at her birthday because it's their birthday to just let him. Yeah, he's not forgotten. Yeah.
What feels, doable, I'll say that. And then as you guys are learning how to grieve, you're teaching your daughters, this is how we handle hard stuff when it comes up. We don't shy away from it. We put some eyes on it, which is very, very hard to do in the moment, and especially with a newborn. Because we did have a similar thing at the bereavement group. It was a couple that had a set of twins, and I think they lost the third one. And the babies are only a couple of weeks, and they're at the remembrance event. Them babies were little, so they had to still be born. So, but they were there just remembering the child that they lost. So they were very intentional about it too. And listening to you, listen to your husband, listen to your family, sounds like everybody's pretty supportive and want to show up for each other. Has that been your experience though with that?
Yes and no. I feel like some people are just like, that happened, is far removed. And I think that's my thing too, is like, oh, if people gonna be like, oh, you should be over that, or is it gonna make them weird? But then I'm also like, it doesn't matter if it makes them weird. What matters is how it makes us feel, me and him, and that's all that matters. And if you feel weird about it, you don't have to participate. So
there you go. That right there.
That was a fear of mine of like, is people gonna be like, okay, that happened a while ago, or like you should be over it by now. Like I said, I feel like it's. I think it's coming up more. My dad passed away. It's going on 3 years now, and I think as we do more remembrance stuff for him, that's what makes me feel like that. Yeah, like we did bubbles instead of balloons this year. We blew bubbles on his birthday and then on the day that he passed away. And so I was like, oh, that's what really started me thinking like we should do something for Caleb too. So.
Yeah. And one of the ladies in my child law school, her son was named Caleb.
Good name. Good baby boy name.
Yeah. Man, it would probably, I don't know. My husband, it was hard for him to want to remember because he was negligent. And so it was very hard. Like you're saying, I was concerned about what people were saying. I wasn't really concerned about them in my grief because that's your problem. I'm going to speak my truth. And so I would talk about them and I would always bring up stories and things like that. But it was very hard for him to celebrate, because he's like, you're wanting me to celebrate like the worst day of my life. I forgot my child. And I was like, it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about his life and he was here and he mattered. And at least birthday for us is a birthday and a death day. I'm absolutely going to take some time and force myself to be intentional. Maybe you don't involve the kids. Maybe you and hubby do something together and just kind of just lean on each other. Maybe you don't involve everybody in that thing. You just y'all two take a moment.
True.
to embrace what we lost, and it is a loss.
Are you guys to the point where you can do it now together?
Yeah, but that was a hurdle. If you can imagine, most women knowing that we are still married, I get the question a lot, like, why are y'all still married? Just because
this is the spiritual piece.
Let's lean back into it. But I absolutely knew, like, my husband's not a psychopath. He made a mistake, and we all make mistakes. It's a fatal one, but that's not his heart. It's just not his heart. So staying together wasn't an issue. You know what I'm saying? But his issue, we are over that now, where we're going to do something intentional. So we're going to do something. I don't even care what it is. We could sit there and look at pictures or videos, and that's fine. We took a moment. We talked about him, we let our kids grieve, you know what I'm saying, and talk about him. Because it's a little hard with kids, young people. They just process things so differently, but they don't ever see him cry about it. So that was my worry, that they see me cry, me acting crazy because my baby ain't here. They don't see him grieving that kind of way either. But he has his own process. So we are like giving each other grace. So you guys you're gonna be intentional, and we're gonna plan, we're gonna take a pause, even if it's just a pause with us two together, to put some eyes on that loss, because that's
I'm finally to the place where I am able to process and be more present with it. Like I said, I think I've just buried it deep, and as I'm going through my healing journey and getting to the point now where I am in a better place mentally and just more baseline, I am able to, like, okay, we can unbox this now.
My sister lost her husband after like 1 year of marriage. I believe it's 1 year or maybe almost 2. And she still is not able to talk about it. And it's been 10 years. And I didn't give her a lot of grace, because I would give her therapy cards. I would give her group support. I'm like, you need to talk to somebody about it. But I didn't have a lot of patience. So that's where I had to apologize to my sister. Like, I did not give you the grace that she should have received. And she was there when it happened too. He killed himself, and she was there. It was an accident, of course, but just in general. Because after 5 years, we're like, girl, come on. Like,
you need to talk to somebody.
Yeah. And I just asked her, would she even talk about it? And she won't talk about it. So if you can't say it out loud, it's
Are you really processing it? Do you have to process it though? Or can you say, yeah? You look at your face, you're like, yes, you have to process.
Because it comes up at the most disrespectful time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You could be in a line at McDonald's and your fries was room temperature, and you just, and you're like, where did that come from? It's been knocking on the door. Let me in. And then it just shows up. And now you're a blubbering mess in front of everybody because you have not laid eyes on it whatsoever. But they have a couple of ways of just kind of easing into it. So maybe you just do, I'm going to give myself 5 minutes. I'm going to listen to this sad song that reminds me of my child, or remind me, my sister's case, of her spouse. And I'm just going to listen to it for 5 minutes. And I'm going to feel all the feels. And then I'm going to turn it off because I got to go back to work or whatever. I got to get back to life. But just trying to have just more intention, so it doesn't come at the most disrespectful time, like in the middle of a meeting or things like that. So that's just my opinion, my 2 cents for what it's worth. So you talked a little bit about your mental health. You're open about living with bipolar disorder. How has your faith supported you in navigating this journey with mental health?
That was the missing piece. That was the missing key. I think I had been dealing with it. I'm in my 30s now. In my early part of my 20s, up until maybe 28, I was still like having episodes on and off every couple of years. But I think once I really took my faith seriously and really started like believing what the word says, really started living around other Christians, like really doing life with people, I think that's what really made a difference. So instead of just going to church just to check it off the list, but like, no, I'm going to church to actually learn and let God really transform my heart and let him really help me. And then like actually really using scriptures to like meditate and like really see, how does this apply to me? How can this help me? What does the word say for me? So that I think, and then just knowing too, like, it's not an option. I think before I always felt like it was on the table. Like you could make the choice if you don't want to be here. And I think that was more of my thing of dealing with more of the suicide ideation and more of the depression sides, and not really just dealing with stuff, thinking you can just take a break from life. And I think the last part for me, like I said, when I was about 27, was I went to my last hospital stay. And I was just like, when I was there, I was like, life is still going on. Like, you still have to go out and go back to work. You still have to go out and face all the people that's still there. Like, you can't pause. And once I realized, like, you can pause in real life. Like, if you need some days at work, take some days off. Like you said, if you need a day, say, this day, I am going to be in all of my fields. I'm going to play my music. I'm going to lay in my bed. I'm not going to wash. I'm not going to brush my teeth. I'm just going to keep the curtains drawn. And this is my day. And once you do that, okay, but tomorrow I'm going to get out here and I'm going to face everything. I'm going to talk to who I need to talk to. I'm going to journal. I'm going to walk it out, I think. And then realizing, I think I was more aware that last hospital stay of like, well, what are we actually doing here? We're actually doing art therapy. We're actually taking time to play games. I'm actually taking time to read books. And it's like, oh, this is what I can do in my everyday life. Do talk therapy and do group therapy and take my meds and realize, all the pieces work.
There to help you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a, and I don't know if you felt this way, just myself, with medications, there's such stigma around it in our community where you don't trust God enough. That's why you're taking this medication. You're going through all this stuff because you didn't tie your 10%. You ain't. I was like, are you crazy? It's got to thanks me. And then I had that in my journey as well, depression, anxiety, medications. And then I finally got to the point where, okay, I think I'm going to try this because I've tried all these other things and I'm not able to get to the next step. And then I had a psychiatrist shame me. He said, this pill isn't going to solve everything for you. And I just got to the point where I was okay. And here you are telling me this isn't right. I need to go to do something else, So that kind of just, of course, played on my self-esteem because I'm trying to do the best I can here. So of course I wasn't with that guy long, but he was in relation with my primary doctor, who was a male doctor as well. And the male doctor said the same thing. I have been going to him for 10 years. And I think I had mental health issues at work. And I had a boss who was just a jerk. And I was like, I'm going to lay hands on her if I have to stay here. And so I was like, I don't want to leave yet. Maybe I just need to take some little time. And he's like, I can give you 2 weeks. You're still going to have to go back and deal with her. I'm like, oh my God. I have been coming for 10 years. So I'm not just looking for an easy way out. So I say that to say just a lot of a lot of people in healthcare can shame us, especially women of color and just women in general. Like, our needs aren't real.
I can definitely see that. I can say, thank God I haven't had that experience. Look, I don't need it, but I was gonna say I haven't had that experience yet. I don't even want to say yet because I don't want to claim that.
In the atmosphere, no, we got new knowledge. We're doing things a little differently,
Yes, and I think also, so that's why I said on the other side of the spectrum, what really helped me too was having a doctor to tell me this doesn't have to be forever. This medication can be a season too. I think realizing that. When you do get the medicine, you think, I'm going to be on this forever. I'm going to need it. And it's like, no, sometimes you can need it for maintenance. You can do it for a year or two. They can lower your dosage to where you're not taking it as often. I think once I became more educated on medicine as well and how to take it, I was like, oh, so even if we come off, because I know something, like now I know if I'm feeling all over the place and I'm like, I can't really think and all the things, I know, okay, I need to talk to my psychiatrist because now, okay, I need something to take the edge off. We need to up it.
So I can focus, so I can come to a solution, so I can think creativity, how I need to move maybe differently. I had somebody ask me that too, like, you're offering medication. No, I'm offering them to follow up with a psychiatrist or nurse practitioners that's in that field to explain their symptoms and make sure there's nothing medically based. When someone is just very, very hijacked by life, sometimes that happens. Yeah. But you've written a book that says your mental health matters to him. Who is him? Who are we talking about? It's such a beautiful bridge between scripture and healing. And so I want to know who is him for you. So I know who's him, but tell our audience. And then what inspired you to write this book? Tell us more about what led you to that.
Definitely. So him is God, Jesus, the Holy Trinity, Holy Spirit, all three together. That's who him is. And just wanted to share, like, how we compartmentalize so many things in our life. We think like mental health, that has to be with my doctor. My faith is over here. I can't do Jesus and therapy. And it's like, no, it all goes together. And God cares about our mental health too. And there's so many, there's so many scriptures about our mental health and how, and when you think about stuff of like how those scriptures can help to put you in check and help to put you in alignment, and how you can rest on those, and how our mental health, a lot of times it's the story that we're playing in our mind. It's the words that we're saying over and over and over. And if you have that, if you replace those thoughts and those words with scripture, you're calming yourself down spiritually. You're letting the words penetrate your soul. You're edifying who he is and honoring him and like I said, meditating on him. So you're connecting with him on a different level, and you're letting him heal you from the inside out. In addition to taking the medicine, in addition to doing the therapy, God's doing his own therapy in you and with you. And I think I wanted to share that part. And in the book, I talk about different instances of different things that happened in my life, and like how those scriptures relate to those instances, and then asking reflective questions at the end of like,
I love that.
Of you to think about how this can impact you and how it can help you. And then like everything doesn't have to be a mental health moment. Like some things are just life. Like there's one story where I share about being in college and being super depressed about, I'm going to pay this tuition bill. And even with that, taking that bill to the altar, praying over that and allowing God to, that could be something for somebody else. That could be a mental health crisis for them, to like make a break for them of not being able to go to school, not accomplishing their goals, not being depressed because you have that financial strain, and like how you can use those type of moments and use God's scripture and allowing God, praying to God and allowing him to guide you through those things. Because once I laid that bill on the altar, my financial aid office came through. They were able to find funding for me that semester. I was able to complete it and stay on campus and graduate and all of those things. But again, it wasn't until I started really learning of like the power of what God can do. And I think for me, knowing that, like my favorite diehard scripture is Jeremiah 29:11. And knowing that God has a plan for our life and of hope and of goodness. And I think that's like despite everything that's going on, even all of these things that we show, the loss of the baby, the house fire, just being a mother, being a wife, being an employee, being an entrepreneur, different things, just all the things. It's like, that's the one truth that you can hold on no matter in any instance of like knowing, okay, anything that's going on, there's hope. There's a future. God's in control of it. I don't have to be in control. I can get in the
So, yeah, I definitely resonate with you on that aspect, because God showed me things way before now. He walked with me. I was in church 8 days a week, I like to say. But what it was is me, like you're saying, just in enriching myself and saturating myself in his word. And it was his word, and it was those lessons that came up when my son died, because I had walked through seasons on these podcasts for women where women were dying. But they said, no, I got to glorify God in his death, because I want people to see him. And I feel bad about me, and get happy. I'm going home. This is going to be beautiful. And you can always put your trust in him, on whatever topic it is. So I had so many concrete examples when that death did come around, of how they already did it, how it looks, what it feels like, and what it could show someone else. So just that was my biggest thing. I gotta show God through this, because he's the only way we're gonna get through it.
So you were already a grief counselor prior to Losing yourself.
No. I had saturated in the work of the Lord and his healing and how healing can happen even in death. How you can trust him.
I was like, wait, you were already doing this work prior?
But very much in his word. I would listen to a podcast every day called Revive Our Hearts, and it's only for women. So I listened to it like every day religiously for like 3 years. And so they cover any and everything you ever thought. They cover body shame. They cover anger management. One was a tribute to fathers and what they learned from their fathers. No, it was just like anything you can think of, they went through. And so for me in that time, the Lord was softening my heart because
the seeds are already being planted. Yeah, wow.
I didn't want to get married again. I had been divorced 10 years before I got married again. The Lord let me see the glory in honoring him as a wife and honoring him if I had another child. Reframing, kind of like you were saying, like, oh, this could be beautiful. Because the women in my life, it wasn't beautiful. They were like, kids are work, men are work. They were over it. It wasn't that beautiful. Oh, I just can't wait to have my baby. It wasn't a beautiful season. Learning more stories about God's word help bring that for me. Scripture, get me excited about life again, kind of a thing. I know you got a second book coming up. Do you want to give us a little glimpse of what the focus on and what you're hoping readers offers readers?
Gotcha, because I'm still praying on it. I'm still praying on it.
All right. More to come.
Yes. But it will be similar to the first one, being that piece of like helping, using scripture as foundation. I will share with that. It will be the same component of that. It will be like a part 2-ish of the book.
As we learn more, we share. I'm going to write a book, but man, it's hard to figure out. I'm like a squirrel. All the topics, like I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Same. And that's why I was like, oh, I talk about my father and that relationship and dynamic. Do I talk about motherhood and that dynamic? Where, like you said, there's so many layers and so many pieces of where you should go. But I do think just a sneak peek is that from my first book to where I am now there's healing in there. And I think that's what the basis of my second book is going to be about, is the process of the healing journey of letting God, what we talked about, really get in there to like penetrate your heart and let him work on you. And like that surrendering piece. I think we all go through life where we're like, okay, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to drive and navigate. But there comes a part where you just got to be like, you know what? I give up. I can't do it. I've been trying to figure it out. Like you said, try to put everything together, trying to make it happen. And you just got to be like, you know what? Okay, I'm done. I have nothing else left to give.
No, you got to leave it at the altar. And Lord, I did. To God be the glory, though, because he can do whatever he want to do. So I just be like, okay, God, I guess I'm going to be the change I want to see.
But I love that because, and I was, again, when I was telling my husband about I was doing this with you, and I was like, I really love how you turned your pain into your passion and how you're really using it to inspire and encourage others along their journey. And like I said, and not, isolating it to just mothers, it's grief and all loss. It's the husbands, it's the men, it's everyone. And like how you could have used that to be stagnant. And it's inspiring me to even, like I said, to even think about it and talk about it and share, because like I buried that deep down, and I'm like now like, okay, I really want to do something with this. I really want to honor Caleb. I really want to let him know his life, while short, was not in vain. Like he mattered, he matters to him. He mattered to us, and he has a purpose. And you really sparked that for me. Going to your workshop and hearing you share about that really gave me the courage to open up and share. And most people who knew me intimately or knew me in that season, they know that. But people who know me now, who just meet me on the everyday, they wouldn't even know. So I think you've given me that courage and that the green light to be like, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. And it's okay to share with a smile on your face. You don't have to cry about it. I felt like it was so powerful to hear you share your testimony and share your loss and it not break you down. I'm somebody who cried at the drop of a hat. So
Yeah.
To share from a place of power. So thank you for that. Thank
Okay,
you.
but that's very much why I did it, to lean into it, because I do feel like, God had uniquely positioned me through those years of just learning about him and learning more, and like you said, it penetrated my heart, just who he is and what kind of father he is and what kind of love he has for us. I don't even take that encouragement because it's from God. It's him. You know what I'm saying? It's him making it possible to even open up and talk about all these things, even just about my husband being negligent. That was so hard for me to talk about because I don't want anybody to judge him. I don't want anybody to judge us because he's very much a very hardworking man who's just too busy. Really, that's just really what it was. He was trying to meet a need, but he was just too busy. And so when everything even happened, I was just like, okay, this is God. This is God. I need to honor him in this. I need to take care of my family, the best way I can. Even though my therapist thinks I was in, what did she say? I was in shock for a year. She said, I think you were in shock.
Looking back.
You were in shock. I was like, maybe. But what I learned, though, seeing your child passed away, I was like, if my child can face death, there is nothing under this sun that I cannot face. So there's no shame for a child that I did not keep. There's no shame for being, divorced. I'm just like, the Lord knows who I am. I just try to talk about it more organically to let other women know we all are a work in progress. We all are. I don't care if you had 6 abortions or 1. I don't care if you slept with 100 men or 2. Whatever. We all got our garbage, and the Lord measures the sin the same. We are the ones that put hierarchies on the different sins.
Facts.
And I'm like, no, God don't do that. I'm going to wrap up. But I just want to share this real quick, though. It was a movie that I saw where this man had killed his wife and kid. And I know this is taking a dark turn. But there was a spiritual lady there who could see visions, and she saw this happening. And so she was trying to get to his family to let his family know what had happened, that it was a demon, attached to him for about 15 years that was just plugging day in, day out. You should kill them. You should kill them. You know what I'm saying? For 15 years, he fought this demon, and he couldn't fight it anymore. And so he left one child alive, right? The last child, the baby of the family. And everybody's like, well, why did he leave him alive? And the lady said, well, the Lord told him to stop, and she didn't allow the demon to do any more harm. And then so she said, the guy killed himself in the movie. Okay, it's a sad turning. But before he did, he asked the Lord and his wife and child in heaven for forgiveness. And she said the wife and the child were sitting at the right hand of God, and they all gave him forgiveness. So that just really opened my eyes to, what kind of God we serve. This is the kind of love that he has for us. There's nothing we can do that he cannot forgive us for. All we got to do is go to him. And that just really shaping my thought. And this is, again, before my son passed. So the Lord is planting these seeds along the way to shift me for what's coming. Because he did give me the vision. I saw it happen. I saw it play out. But we don't always know, us mere humans, what he's trying to show us. So I just wanted to share that story. It's just a way of just thinking, like, what can man do? You know what I'm saying? Right. Oh, man, gonna shame me if I'm sharing my story, if I'm still holding this grief, whatever. Because I serve a God who's way higher, who's better, and he'll put people in my place to support me, and that'll give me the healing and the guidance I need to move forward. All we got to do is release. Like you said, we just got to release and land on his word.
And knowing that, that even like in Job, he's when all this stuff was happening in Job, and Job's like, why God? And God's like, I ain't gonna
lie to you. I was like, Jesus, now.
Right.
How much more can this girl take?
Yes. But we know even with that God still has us covered, and he's still looking out for us, and he's still going to be there, and he's still going to show us. And even with the devil petitioning, because he knows that we're faithful. He knows the power and what we have before we even knew. And even in that season of those trials and tribulations and the things that's going to go on is how that's going to shape us faith-wise, and how we're going to impact and change others. Look at all the lives you've probably impacted along the journey. Granted, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want to have traded that for your son's life, but in that moment, your pain and your tragedy was used for triumph. And he knew what you could handle. He knew what was inside of you. He knew how he could use you and how you were able to be molded and shaped and shifted to help others along the way through their grief journey. So look, we with the guy we serve, like you said, the guy we serve in our Job season, we don't see it when we happening, but on the other side, you're like, okay, God, I see what you did there. I see how we can get glory out of this.
It was my stepdad. He said, daughter, if you're the strong spiritual one, the devil is going to come for you. And he's using your husband to come and knock you off. He said, don't fight with your husband. It's a spirit, daughter. That's what he said. It's a spirit. And you got to look at this as like, it's the spirit that we need to speak to. And he's like, if you are the more spiritual one, you're the more therapeutic one, then sorry, you got to do it. You got to be the change. And I'm like, dang it. Why do I always got to be the change? He's like, because you were built for it. He positioned you for it. And I'm like, let me go down here and make up with my husband.
Trust, when I be in my moments, I'm doing the same eye rolls, stumping my feet too.
Then I got to extend this olive branch. I got to take accountability for my part.
Yes. All of that. Why do I got to be the bigger person?
I was wrong on ABC. You were right on DEF. Can we compromise?
Sounds like you've been ear hustling in my house.
I'm like, I just got off the phone with 18 cousins. Like, girl, he is tripping.
Right, he in the wrong. If I was you.
Now, my family are good people, so they'll let me vent.
But then you always get that one little spiritual person where you like, oh, you knew who I needed to talk to turn me back around.
Already knew it, they just like, well, is there any way he could be right about part of it? And then my husband, he gets on his bandwagon. He's a Taurus, I'm a Leo, so that lets you know a couple of things right there. With two bulls, boom. Everybody thinks they know better. And I'm like, LaWayna, is this the hill you're gonna die on? You're gonna win the battle but lose the war.
Yes. You gotta choose it wisely.
And I told him the same thing, like, is this the hill you want to die on? We could, but
no, y'all got plenty more to go through, plenty more to climb up and go back down and climb back up and prayerfully stay at the top of it.
We're working hard here. We are communicating.
Do it all the way.
So that I do want to, I'm going to send you the information. So me and my husband are kind of reading this book called The Inner Work. And it takes a lot of those principles of spirituality and reframing thoughts and just thinking about how we show up and how we present in life. And labeling emotions just an emotion. This isn't taking anything from you. If your spouse come to you and they're mad about something, you can listen, you can be present, but you don't have to think less than of yourself just because they're in distress. It's a whole reframing thing. It's a lot of therapy. It's like CBT and DBT, but it resonates with him. So I got to check a box, even though I didn't already read this and I feel like I'm back in school. So he knows he's cared for and I'm respecting. What I realized, we both were saying the same thing. We had different pathways to get there. His is through these books that are really helping him with his grief. Mine is through therapy because that's my lived experience. He say tomato, I'm saying tomato.
Are y'all sitting there reading it collectively or?
Yeah. We sit there. I don't like him to read. I let the audio play and then he pauses when he wants to tell me how it landed on him. And I'll share if anything landed on me. That's kind of how it is. Just an intentional time that you're sharing together every 30 minutes, every day for 30 minutes. We're going to read this book together. We're going to pour into our marriage.
I love that idea. That's why I was just asking how you guys, I'm really looking for ways for us to connect on that level and to
I
have
would
those.
definitely do a support group around the book because I think it is a really, really good book. I like how it's written. It's combining spiritual and mental and kind of Buddhism, just being present and mindfulness kind of stuff. So I think it's a beautiful blend of all those frameworks and just helping you experience a better, healthier, happier life. And communication with each other. And then the couple wrote a second book called The Relationship Book, which comes after the inner work. So it's the inner work and then the inner work of relationships. So they've been beneficial. So if you guys are interested, we'll be starting that up because I like to hear just from other people how it landed on them, what they got out of it. So we're just reading a chapter each. We will read a chapter weekly and talk about it in group. But I want to end with, and we can come back, some more things we did not get into with your community and advocacy work. Just want to learn a little bit more about that and how you're showing up in these streets because you know you're a busy mama. Is there anything that you want to leave everyone with? Any last words, any wisdom or reflection you want to leave with people?
I just would say just do the work. Like you said, it's going to come up whether it's now, whether it's later. That happened in 2016, it's 2025, so 10 years. So you may think, oh, I dealt with that. It's going to sprout. It's going to sprout. It's going to grow legs. It's going to walk away. So you can deal with it then or you can deal with it now, but you're still going to have to deal with it. So
yeah, I like to say pick your heart. It's hard not to deal with it. It's hard to deal with it. Which heart do you want to try? For me, I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I just lean into it. Feel all the feels. Let's talk about it. I might mess up. I'm going to take accountability. I'm going to say sorry and move on. Then I might mess up again because I'm grieving, just a little lady grieving. We are here to do that work. KeErica is a connector. I am a connector. So if you need resources, if you need follow-up, please DM us. And KeErica, how can they find you if they're wanting to learn about all these things that you're doing?
You can follow me on Instagram. I am KeErica. I am KeErica. I am KeErica. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. KeErica Brown. I'm on Facebook, but it's everything I post on Facebook. I'm posting on Instagram, so that's where you're going to get most of the content. But Instagram and LinkedIn are where I'm at.
All right, and she does have a book, Your Mental Health Matters to Him, and so she's going to tell us where we can pick that book up as well.
Yes, so you can pick it up on Amazon. It is $15. You can buy it on there and get it shipped to you. Like we shared, I have another book that'll be coming out at the top of the year in January. Your healing journey matters to him. So I'll be sharing more scriptures and how your healing journey matters to God and how we can let him in to assist us with that.
Nice. Tag your friend in. I can put a little scripture on my healing journey, all about the healing.
Thank you. Received. So we signing you up. So you're going to be possibly doing a forward.
I like to lean into challenges to force myself to grow in ways that I haven't even thought about. The Lord, who knows where he's positioning me.
You said, your book is in thoughts, in the seeds. So that's the.
You know what? I wrote probably only one chapter, but I started figuring out how I wanted to lay out. And it's going to be called Very Strong Wayna, my Facebook name. So how did she get there?
Ooh, okay. Well, I'm staying tuned. I'm ready.
Sorry, Mom, in future. I will be shooting from the hip.
Look, understandable. Look, everything don't go inside the book, but sometimes they do. So, yeah.
It's going to be tactfully and respectfully, but very much from my point of view and my journey.
And transparent.
I'm sorry, I don't do it any other way. So thank you so much. We have had KeErica Brown with us. She's amazing. I've seen her do so many different things. Just love her energy, love her servitude. She just loves to serve. She loves people. She loves God. She loves her family. What better can you get? So we're going to have her come back again. We didn't even get to the second half of the questions I had. So we're going to talk again. But thank you so much for just sharing with us, for being vulnerable with us. So this is a tough journey. And I just love how you're taking care of yourself, in this time.
Thank you.
Until next time, this is LaWayna Berry with Female Voices Life and Loss.